Well, hello there. Carol Dockham here with Beautiful Faces Going Places Women's Success Network. And I am so excited as we are continuing with our Business Spotlight series. And I am here today with Jovan Walker. And let me just say, Jovan is just amazing. She is a marketing and branding consultant, strategist. She helps executives as well as speakers, trainers, coaches really hone in on their branding, messaging, and to create awesome content and communication strategies and campaigns that actually convert. So that is her zone of genius, and I'm just thrilled to have Jovan here today. She and I were sharing a conversation the other day all about how it's important right now to change things up. It is time to make a shift in the way that we're doing business. And what was working 6 to 12 months ago is not necessarily working right now. So I invited her here today because I wanted her to share, kind of what's going on in the business world from a marketing and branding perspective. And so please help me welcome Jovan Walker with Think About It LLC and Brand Talk with Joe.
Awesome. Thank you so much, Carol. I'm excited to be a part of this conversation. But as you mentioned, there are a lot of shifts happening. As you can see, quite naturally, our shift from what was going on last year is kind of shifting to more of a close to normal prior to, right? So
Right.
outside is opening, everything is getting to be kind of close to usual, in terms of what we have been accustomed to for years. And then there's also the aspect of shift within business, like shifting within how we're going about pushing our information on social media, email marketing, campaigns, things of that nature. Even if you're utilizing some levels of ads within Facebook, like that is shifting. Like there's so many shifts happening. And I think the biggest thing right now for
Yes.
many entrepreneurs, especially coaches, consultants, is to be ready for the shift, realizing that some of the things that worked last year or even 3 months ago are not the same now. I remember I have this virtual networking event that I do like once a month. And when I first started, it was actually in December of 2020.
Right.
I had a great number of people that came. Then the next one, I still had a great number of people, but as the months kept going, it started to dwindle to, in terms of like maybe having 10 people, 15 people to like 5 in one person,
Right.
because people are beginning to go back out. So the way in which I had to communicate what's going on is like, you maybe need to have something in person. Now I haven't really planned that, but I know that's the next step. But overall, it's very important that we shift, because this is the season for shift.
Right.
I know that for sure, like contracts may not hit you the way they once were. I was just talking to a friend of mine who they work with other businesses. Specifically, they do like health consulting, and so they do some trainings and different things of that nature with small companies about healthcare. And they realized that one of the businesses that they reached out to wouldn't need their services for about a year, almost until
Wow.
like October 2022, because they're still in the process of trying to figure out what's going to happen and how things are working. So it's ever important that if you're going to do something within your business, that you'll be ready to make a change. Like that, don't get stuck on what you used to do. Don't get
Right.
stuck on how things used to happen in terms of client attraction. There's new methods. For me, I even do something different, like in terms of changing names of stuff. Like instead of just saying we're going to have a webinar, let's have a virtual experience, or let's have instead of just saying it's a master class, let's just do something a little bit different, because we want to engage the people in which we're trying to serve. We're trying to reach out to them, but not make it seem like it's just another Zoom call. Like, so
Right.
it's very, very important that we get into the place where we're open to change and open to shift, because it's going to affect our overall bottom line.
Right. No, I absolutely love that, Jovan, and you're absolutely right. things are changing and shifting, and depending upon where you live in the world, whatever city, state, country, and your guidelines, people are anxious to start meeting at once again in-person events. But then, you know what? I kind of feel like what we've, this past year of embracing virtual world and technology has really created opportunities for small business owners and entrepreneurs to really take their business to another level, utilizing technology. And I think that is so, so cool. So it's because, at least here in the greater Cincinnati, Ohio area, we're able to start meeting in person again. And so how do we bridge that gap between in-person events, virtual world, to create these hybrid experiences? And you're absolutely right. What was working 6 to 12 months ago will probably not be working now and moving forward. So, and I love that you said this is the perfect time for shifting, changing, tweaking, and finding new creative ways to get in front of your ideal clients or customers. I mean, we all have goods, products, and services that can help, that solve problems. So how do we do that?
Yeah. So yeah, the biggest thing in terms of how to shift is just I recognized when I needed to shift, right? So I had a really good contract and the contract ended, right? And it was the nature of the game in terms of what we were doing. The contract ended and it really I sat down for a second. I was like distraught, like I don't know what I'm going to do. I don't, what's the next big step for me? How am I going to do this? And of course, the first thing that I had to assess was the simple fact that I needed to do something different, right?
Right.
Clearly, this contract ended. So what's your next move? What's your next big thing? And instead of trying to figure out like everything all at one time, I like literally had to write out a plan. Like, well, I'm gonna start working on this, and I'm gonna start focusing on. I have a book that I wrote. I did a
Yes.
God's Way, came out in November of 2020, and I had created a curriculum for it, like for a program for it, and I never like even pushed or anything about it. So I'm like, you know what, I'm gonna focus on that. And so
Right.
that literally has been my focus point in terms of like, let me make sure I flesh this thing out so that everything is working well, and then I can move on to my next big thing. Because the thing is, sometimes we can get overwhelmed with, okay, it is time to shift. There's some things that are changing. There's, maybe we're not doing everything online anymore, but well, we're still going to be doing, let me be clear.
Right.
We're still going to be doing a lot of things online, but maybe not on the level that we were a few months ago. So let me see how I can maximize in this, and without being so overwhelmed with like, well, I got to get this done. I got to get that done. I got to get, all these things. So I just literally had to make a plan. Like, I'm going to focus on one thing, and I'm going to flesh out every little detail within that and then move on to the next. I think that's the biggest thing that we need to assess when it comes to our shift. Like, yeah, there's going to be a change, but
Yes.
let us not change upon all types of changes.
Right.
Like be overwhelmed with everything. Let's just kind of focus on one thing. And I think that's the biggest thing, is just assessing where we are and then making a plan of action to overcome that where we are.
Right. And I truly believe that right now is the perfect time to be doing that. As an event planner myself, having hosted, I don't know how many business weeks last year during 2020, which were all just really truly successful. I think we hosted 3 virtual business weeks. I don't know how many virtual networking events. I think over 50 virtual networking events, and they were all successful. But I do too have seen that over time, I think we all have experienced a bit of the Zoom burnout, and for virtual event organizers and planners, I do believe that attendance has kind of dwindled or just slowed down. I think there is still a place for hosting virtual online, whether they're workshops, summits, webinars. I think that that's still viable today, but as you pointed out, I think we've got to make a twist, or we've got to add some creativity, some ingenuity, something exciting. We've got to make it more sexier, whatever the word is, you know what I mean? Like, oh my gosh, I've got to join that. That looks like fun, or I'm going to learn XYZ. So you're right. The same old, we've got to figure out ways to change things up. So I love that you're doing that. I feel like I'm at the same point in place and time as you are, which is why I'm like, oh my gosh, we've got to do a business spotlight on you, Jovan, and talk about this so that we can help others embrace this time. And also, I mean, you can actually help, speakers, trainers, coaches, experts, consultants, and even corporate executive teams embrace this time to shift and come up with some new marketing and branding strategies moving forward. So now's the perfect time to do some time out, some planning. Besides that, Jovan, what are some ways that you help your clients?
Well, one of the biggest things that I do in terms of helping many of my clients is build confidence within their brand. I think that's key. Like if you're not confident within your brand, it shows up in so many areas. It shows up in how you communicate with your audience. It shows up how you interact with new customers, new clients. It shows up in how often, how consistent you are, even in pushing content on the social platforms, on email marketing, on texting. It just shows up it shows up in everything. Like it really, really affects things. So when people see that you have no confidence or lack thereof in certain things, it makes them not necessarily fully believe in you to even purchase anything from you. So one thing that I definitely do is help people to understand who are you? Like legit, like who are you behind the brand? Like
Right.
you are a person, you created this thing, you have some gifts, you have some amazing talents, you have some amazing qualities about you, you have some amazing goals that you want to achieve. So how do you tap into that, and how do you allow what is on the inside of you to portray with what you're doing in terms of your brand, in terms of what you're doing with your business, how you're holding yourself either even accountable, how you're holding yourself upright in terms of people as an upright type of business owner, entrepreneur. Those are things that I focus in on that so much, because that really does set the foundation for how to push information out there about what you're doing.
I love that. And that is the essence of branding, right, Jovan? I mean, really understanding, and identifying who are you?
Yeah.
What do you stand for? What are your values? And then how do you communicate that to your ideal clients or your target audience? And I absolutely love that. I truly believe that that confidence does show up
Yeah.
in all levels.
Yeah.
you
It's
know,
sure.
yeah. So wherever you're leaving your trace, your branding trace, your persona, it shows up in all aspects, right? All levels of social media, LinkedIn, wherever you're at, it
Absolutely.
does show up. Yes.
Yeah.
So let's talk about this workshop, because you are not only a speaker and a coach and marketing branding strategist, but you also host and facilitate workshops in person and online. And as you mentioned, you're an author. Your book is on Amazon. I Did It God's Way. But you've got an upcoming virtual experience. So share about that. I was going to call it a webinar, but I'm not.
Got to be creative, right? But no,
Right.
honestly, I do have a virtual experience coming up on Monday. It's called Unstuck in Business, and it's for entrepreneurs who are feeling kind of like pretty much like there needs to be a shift. Not really sure how that's going to happen. Not really sure what to do. Kind of been feeling a little low in terms of what they're doing within their business, and it's time to make a change. Time to make a new step forward. And so we're going to be looking at things. This is specifically for faith-based entrepreneurs. I say that because I do include a lot of biblical information within it. So I want to make sure that people know before they get there, like what I'm going to be talking about. But we're talking about biblical essentials to building your business, how to avoid pitfalls. And if a pitfall does happen, how to navigate through the process so that you can continue to grow. It's ever important. I like to share story. So that is going to be me telling a lot of story about what I've done, how I've overcome, how I've grown and things of that nature, so that you can see that it's possible. If it's possible for me, it's possible for you as well. And we're going to even address mindset at the same time. I think mindset is key, is crucial. I talk about confidence often, and mindset and confidence go hand in hand. If you're not confident, your mindset is going to be like, what? Like, where are we going here? So that is something that is doing. It's happening on Monday at 7 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. It's only 1 hour, so it's an hour of power.
I
I don't
love
like
it.
to hold people too long, but at the same time, it's a free event. So if you're interested in attending, please do so. We're gonna post the link below, the
Yes.
registration link. So we'd love to see you there.
Absolutely. Jovan, I think that sounds incredible. Right now is the perfect time to shift in business, work on your mindset, your confidence, and put together that strategy to move forward. In 2021, we are at the midpoint of the year, so this is perfect timing. So that's Monday, June 21st at 7 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, and your topic is Unstuck in Business Virtual Experience. So it is the perfect timing. So Jovan, thank you so much for sharing your brilliance with us here today at Beautiful Faces Going Places Women's Success Network. I am just thrilled to have you on our success team. Jovan is listed in our business directory, so check out her full profile, her contact information as well. Jovan, where is the best place for someone to connect with you if they're interested in just a strategy session, or let's talk about next steps or how to work with you?
Absolutely. So the easiest way to contact me is to go to jovanswalker.com. You'll get all detail there in terms of scheduling sessions and learning anything about any programs that might be on the horizon as well.
Fantastic. Well, thank you so much, Jovan. I am ready to shift in business, and thank you so much for sharing your brilliance with us today. And we will see you all at her virtual experience on June 21st. And it is time to get unstuck in business and make that shift. Thank you so much, Jovan.
Thank you so much.
Take care.
You too.